Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Welcome everybody back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle channel. I am your host Adam Cousins and we are reviewing TNA Impact from last night, and it was the first show since No Surrender on our way to Sacrifice. There was a nice opening graphic in memory of Virgil and Ole Anderson, who we sadly lost this week. We posted graphics on our videos as well. Sad losses to the world of wrestling. Also open with a nice package looking at No Surrender before going straight in to the action this week. And it kicked off with Speedball Mike Bailey against Steve Maclin. This was a really good opener between two stars of TNA. Speedball Bailey, you know how he starts with the kicks. That's how it all started. Once it went to the outside, though, Ale nearly got counted out, but Zachary Wentz was out there. And he kicked Bailey's leg behind the ref's back, and then gave Maclin the control of Speedball Bailey. There was a part where Bailey come back, he swept Maclin's legs, but Maclin avoided the double knees. And then the end of this match was the KIA from Maclin after Bailey countered with a poison rama, tried for the ultimate weapon. Maclin hits the KIA and picks up the victory. Maclin was cutting a promo on Nick Nemeth being a leech, which is why he's moving on. But Nemeth appeared on the Tron from NJPW, New Japan, Pro Wrestling, and he went off to win the IWGP Global Championship, and he has challenged Maclin to a match at Sacrifice, which we believe has been accepted. It is on the card for a couple of weeks' time. So that is going to be a great match at Sacrifice. Nick Nemeth, Steve Maclin. Will the IWGP Championship be on the line? Though that would be an interesting one. We'll have to wait and see. Outside of the arena at this point, Gia Miller was there informing Kazarian that he's suspended for the attack on the referee last week. If you remember, Kazarian went a bit crazy last week and started attacking near enough everybody. And now he's got a suspension. And Kazarian basically went and told Gia to ask Santino if really thinks that's the right thing to do. Well, you played your hands on an official, Santino. So Kaz. So it probably was the right thing to do. But we'll see if he's on Impact next week. Laredo Kid and Jake Something was next. And this was again another one with Laredo was controlling that pace early on, doing a lot of the high flying stuff. Sent Jake Something outside, and then he went for, I think, some sort of Hurricane Rana move off the ropes onto the outside, and he ate a huge power bomb on the floor. The thud of the mat it didn't sound great at all. He actually got it back, took back control a little bit in the ring, and hit a nice missile drop kick and hit a spike DDT, but Something kicked out at one, and then he pulls into the void out of nowhere for the win. And again, another impressive win. And I think I said this before, there is definitely something about Jake Something that I like, and I'm really looking forward to see what the future holds for Jake Something in TNA. Hopefully they use him correctly. I'm sure that they will. And as Impact and TNA roll forward into 2024, Jake Something should be competing for championships if he continues this impressive form and streak that he's on. The sound check was next. Alan Angels. This time he was with Con. Now, if you remember, Con and PCO had an absolute war at No Surrender. At this point, Alan Angels has said he's got the best security that money can buy, because his last segment ended in chaos as well. But he did express how proud he was of Con, and they're both doing awesome stuff. And Con reminded him that he's the baddest man in TNA. And as he says that, the lights begin to flicker, and all of a sudden here is PCO. He shoves Angels to the ground. He starts fighting with Con as they cut the camera. I said on the No Surrender review that I think they need to do Monsters Ball or something like that with Kong and PCO, and just let them kick the crap out of each other. And I'm pretty sure, or hopeful, that that's where it's going, to some crazy match. PCO is having the run of his life at the moment. And, Connor's always been on the periphery, I think. He was in the WWE and he had a great tag team and they didn't use it correctly. And now he's cutting his own cloth in TNA and looking really good. So get them two in a Monsters Ball match, and we'll see how that goes. But the next one was a tag team encounter. It was Cody Deaner, AJ Francis versus Rich Swann, and we believe in Joe Hendry. This was a fun little match. This was, obviously there's a beef between Joe Hendry and AJ Francis. Rich Swann is an incredible performer. He really is. And I hope we get to see him maybe go for X Division Championship in TNA this year. He is brilliant. I could watch Rich Swann wrestle all day long. There was a promo from Joe Hendry before the action gets started on this. And at first, Swann is dominated, but he just pulled out a drop kick to counter Deaner. Then they tagged in Joe Hendry, and then Deaner wrestled Deaner before Francis gets a tag. Henry did manage to lift Francis up literally for about a second before collapsing. But in the end, Swann hits the handspring cutter, tags out to Hendry, and he hits Deaner with a standing ovation chokeslam for the win. Like I said, Rich Swann I could watch all day. Joe Hendry is just a great character. AJ Francis coincidentally will be competing in NWA coming up as well. I think maybe this weekend, whenever their Hard Times show is. And he's looking good since he come in from WWE. And perhaps, people give him maybe some unfair criticism because of the stuff that's gone on with him in WWE. But sometimes you give the guy an opportunity, you let him run with it, and he's being himself, and he seems to be enjoying himself. So more to him, more power to him, and more AJ Francis on our tellies, if you please, and if you could, well, stomach it. There was a mysterious vignette from the Decay since losing the tag team titles. We need to see them back now. Gia Miller interviews Josh Alexandra. Now, well, basically, he's facing Alex Hammerstone in a rematch at Sacrifice. Alex Hammerstone is over here working with our partners at Progress Wrestling this weekend. So good luck to Alex Hammerstone for the love of wrestling and for the love of Progress show in Manchester. So looking forward to hearing some positive reports about that match over there. But he is facing the walking weapon, Josh Alexandra, at Sacrifice. Dirty Dango interrupts here. And in the end, it ends with Josh Alexandra saying, I want to get Santino to book them a match for next week, Dirty Dango and Josh Alexander. Now, the other news coming out of this is that Alex Hammerstone has signed with TNA. And you know what, guys? That is a signing that could change the game for TNA. Hammerstone is a sensational performer in and out of the ring. It's going to be a great asset for the company. I can't wait to see him not only against Josh Alexander at Sacrifice, but him in TNA. It is a great fit. Congratulations on a great signing, and that is going to potentially hit TNA going forward really, really well. There is talk of TNA looking to go live on shows. They apparently were looking around Full Sail University to do more of their shows going forward. And I tell you what, in the next 12 to 18 months, TNA could really be back where they were before. And I really hope that is the case. And people like Alex Hammerstone, Ali, who we're going to get to in a minute, Nick Nemeth, will only help them in their ways to do it. So great signing. Can't wait to see him kind of debut as full-time at Sacrifice. And Josh Alexander's going to be an absolute unit of a match that is going to be. So looking forward to that. Mentioned Mustafa Ali. He was next with his inauguration ceremony after winning the X Division, and we did it. We accepted it, and we won. We're making that X Division great again. Sabin at this point interrupts and challenges Ali to step away from the podium and talk to him like a man. He did say that he would still be champ if it weren't for the good hands, Hotch and Skylar, who are also there. Ali was like, that's a slanderous accusation. And at that point, the good hands tackle Slavin, but he was not alone. Kushida and Kevin Knight clear the ring as Ali manages to escape. That is obviously looking towards a rematch. There is a six-man tag next week with all three of these, I think. Oh, no, the six-man tag, sorry, is a Sacrifice. Sabin, Kevin Knight and Kushida versus the Good Hands and Ali. Next week, Ali takes on Kevin Knight. I am looking forward to that match. Kevin Knight has been massively impressive in the weeks that I've seen him on TNA. Ali is fantastic. That match should really, really be good. Now, George Iceman and Ash by Elegance briefly come out on TNA this week to say that Ash will be competing next week, but she's going to be keeping a close eye on the next match, which was Tasha Steelz and Xia Brookside in a #1 contenders match. This was a really good match, but it ended up in a double count out. They were basically throwing punches at each other on the outside, ref didn't, forgetting the referee's count. And they roll back inside to confront the ref at this point. But Jordan Grace comes out and says, that's all right. There's no winner. I'll just face both of you because she is the juggernaut and she's going to go after them both. And I can't wait to see that triple threat match. Xia Brookside gets her first shot of gold. Sacrifice, I believe. This is going to be great. Tasha Steelz has been really impressive. Jordan Grace is just a juggernaut. So looking forward for that match. So yeah, next week, as we've already mentioned, Ali, Kevin Knight, Josh Alexander versus Dirty Dango, and Masha Slamovich from MK Ultra will take on our girl Danny Luna in the match. So that is three really good matches already next week. Moose was out the back at this point cutting a promo on Crazy Steve, and they will face each other in a no disqualification match. I wouldn't want to be crazy. I know Crazy Steve's crazy, but I wouldn't want to be him against Moose, not one-on-one. Speaking of Moose, the System in the main event took on Eric Young and Bullet Club ABC in what was a really, really good. I say it wasn't Moose, it was Eddie Edwards, sorry, and Brian Myers. Oh no, it was sorry, Moose was in it. Apologies for that. Keep thinking was Moose in it because he cut the promo on Crazy Steve. Yes, he was in this match. This was a really good six-person tag or six-man tag. Look, you know what you're going to get with Bullet Club ABC. Eric Young's obviously the #1 contender who will go against Moose at Sacrifice. You've got experience in there, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers. You've got the power of Moose. You've got the experience of EY, and you've got the tag team brilliance of ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay. This was a great six-person tag. The winners were the System. Eddie hits the backpack stunner for Myers to hit the elbow drop and pin Chris Bay to round off yet another solid week on TNA Impact. As I said before, lots of stuff going on. Alex Hammerstone coming in. They're looking to go live, hopefully. Full Sail University has been looked at as a potential venue. They are seriously on the up, and as I said before, the next 12 to 18 months, we could see TNA really starting to creep back up there in terms of live shows, great, arenas to fill up, and they're also filling up. The arena this week was really full, and again, this can only be good stuff for TNA going forward. With all the stuff going on, we've already mentioned Scott D'Amore leaving, everything like that. They're still running that crest of a wave, and they're riding it very, very good indeed. So just keep watching, though. Just please keep watching TNA, regardless of what you feel about the management situation. Just keep on watching, keep supporting them. Scott may have gone, but the talent is still there, and the talent is still putting on great shows for you. Speaking of great shows, we've got some great interviews coming up this month. Devon Dudley, Ken Shamrock are all coming up this month. David Francesco, Clark Connors are coming up. We're announcing one today. Will this go out before? Yes, it will. So I can't tell you who it is, but keep your eyes on social media. If you like TNA, you will like the announcement that we've got coming up. Big shout out to Progress Wrestling at their show. Twisted Metal the last weekend was a fantastic show. They're For the Love of Wrestling. They're doing For the Love of Progress this weekend. For the Love of Wrestling putting on some great shows, like they are putting on a great convention for the next 2 days. People like Trish Stratus are there, X Park, Enzo Amore, Lita's there. Really, really good names. They're doing some great stuff over in Manchester. Apologies, I can't get there. I, however, am going to be at WrestleForce on Saturday, over right on my stomping ground in Essex, not far from me at all. Our good friend Mark True will be wrestling in there. I'm going to have a little look at him, considering he's still after the Turnbuckle Championship. Smashing Mike holds still. We're running through to get closer and closer to Ignite. Full throttle event. Adonis Payne takes on Tommy Kyle for the Ignite Championship. We've had Sapphire Reed going one-on-one with Aluna. Get well soon, Aluna. We know that you've got an injury at the moment that's keeping you out. Hopefully you'll be fine for this event. And she's got a knee injury at the moment, so we're hoping that that heals up so she can go and compete on the show. Obviously, it's full throttle on the way to Buckle Up on July the 14th, our sponsored show with Ignite. We cannot wait to bring you that. We've got some great names lined up as it stands. Card is subject to change, but we are really excited for what Buckle Up's 2024 or Buckle Up 2 is going to bring, and we like to give you more information on that as and when we can. Shout outs to our sponsors: Adonis Payne, LA Taylor, the lovely Artemis, the lovely Aluna Blue. We will be, and Taylor James. How could I forget Taylor James? Well, you booed me on the interview, Taylor, so that's why I forgot you. You said you're going to boo me at Ignite, so yeah, I forgot you on purpose, Taylor. Not really, but yeah. Guys, this has been the TNA review on the Hitting the Turnbuckle channel. Keep it hooked on the socials at HTT Buckle, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, and all other social media networks and outlets. We'll be back with some AEW stuff. They got a pay-per-view at the weekend. Keep it locked on that as well. Will Ospreay's first show for AEW as a full-time employee. Sting's last show. Obviously, some great memories of Sting in TNA as well. Keep it locked on the social channels. Keep watching wrestling. Keep supporting your local British wrestling, obviously, over here. Keep supporting your local American wrestling over in America. And it's local wrestling wherever you watch this program from. And also, thank you for watching. And until next time, everybody, buckle down. Stay safe.